Greens family, this is Bomani Tamba, and welcome to our Tanzania November 20th to December 1st conference call. And today's date is November 9th. So we are 11 days away from our journey to Tanzania. So here to just go over some preparation details and answer any questions, comments, or concerns anyone may have for the journey, and just be open to this any questions in general. All right, so I posted in the WhatsApp from last week to this week that we are continuing our journey to Tanzania, and we have another option for those who may just want to do Arusha and Zanzibar. So that's our two main options. And for those who would like to get transferred to another tour, we have another option for that. And for those who want to cancel, we have assessments that we need to do. So those are the things that we have shared as far as this options in general, and always open to working out whatever we need to work out for anyone. But we have done our assessments and research in Tanzania with our partners, our people on the ground, and then the flow of other people that live on the island of Tanzania, that move around Tanzania, that do business and everything. And we have looked at the flight schedule and look at the process of continuing our journey. And so each individual is open to anything that they need to do, and we're open to whatever we can do for them. But I'll be continuing the full schedule and recommending everyone to join me on the full schedule. And for those who don't, those are some of the options that we have. And also want to talk about the visa situation. Hopefully everyone have their visa. If you haven't received the email for your visa, the best thing that I usually recommend is to go to the Tanzania site that you applied for your visa on. And what you can do is you can check the status with all of your login information, which is your ID, your security question. So those are some of the things that you can do. And then worst case scenario, we can always get you the number for the Tanzania embassy, or you can look it up to where you can call them directly to check why you haven't received your email or your Tanzania visa. And then as far as flight schedule, my highest recommendation to everyone is to make sure that you literally log into your airline that your flight was booked on, whether it's delta.com or klm.com, and just get used to this navigating on the app. And also change your contact information on your ticket to your email and your phone number so you can get any alerts or anything changed. And as we proceed to traveling to Tanzania, I would recommend every few days just log in, make sure that there's no changes on your flight schedule. And all right, mute all. That way you're literally clear about any flight situation. And as always, we just recommend that you get to the airport 3 to 4 hours of your flight. That way you can be well prepared for anything, long lines. This is kind of the pre-holiday season, so you never know what the flight schedule and things like that may work out to be. And I'm looking at the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat if anyone needs to post anything on the chat that may not want to verbally say it. I'll just keep it open. So one of the things I want to just talk about in general is we unfortunately do have a flight schedule change. So when you do log in, you'll see a change I'm gonna just read off versus doing screen sharing. My flight leaves from JFK to meet with several other people that leave from JFK. Once we get to Amsterdam, that's when all flights connects, and we're basically looking to meet up 2 hours before the flight. So all flights were originally scheduled to meet up to get there anywhere from 4 to 2 hours before the flight. And for those who may decide that they want an earlier flight, you can always log into your Delta or KLM app and request an earlier flight so you can get to Amsterdam earlier. That's an option that's open to you. And if there's any change of fare difference and things like that, or if there's a credit, all of that will be on you. So those are some of the things you can do. What we have is changeable tickets, non-refundable ticket, but changeable tickets. So you can always make any changes that you need to make. And for those who want seats, priority seats on KLM still, you can still select your seats and pay for those seats. For those who have great Delta Sky Miles access, like myself, you'll be able to select complimentary seats on all of your legs. And if you haven't selected your seats on your KLM portion of the flight, which is basically Amsterdam to Tanzania, Tanzania to Amsterdam, what you can do is you can just wait till when you get to check-in, and then you can talk to the agent and find out what seats are available, and you can just select your seats from there. Beyond that, seats will be assigned to you automatically if you don't select them. Now, as far as the flight schedule, once we leave from Amsterdam, the biggest unfortunate change, we're leaving at 9:30 a.m. on November 21st. So by that time we'll all meet up, introduce ourselves, get connected, and just be ready for it's a flight to the other side of Africa. So it's a little ride. You're talking about 9 hours. So the flight originally was supposed to land directly into Kilimanjaro, but instead the flight and what it usually do, the flight usually land in Kilimanjaro Airport, and the Kilimanjaro passenger get off, and then uh, then the flight will leave back out, and it will go to Dar es Salaam, and then for the Dar es Salaam passengers. But the airline have rerouted the change to make Dar es Salaam a priority, so the flight will land in Dar es Salaam, and then once they get off and get the plane set back, we'll fly to Kilimanjaro. It's unfortunate because it puts us at a 2 hour delay. So we're managing that aspect. Now on the outbound, it's a similar situation. The flight is going to leave from Dar es Salaam 2 hours early, about 9:30, and then it's going to land in Zanzibar and pick up the Zanzibar passengers and head to Amsterdam. So when you look at your flight booking, it may look strange and weird, but that's literally what has happened with KLM. Uh, they change schedules sometimes, they make adjustments, but that's one of the situations. So now we're gonna have to leave a little earlier to get to the airport on our way from Dar es Salaam. So those are some of the updates I have, and open to seeing if anyone have any questions. I want to talk about anything. That way we can just answer questions and not for me to just talk a whole lot about things. And I always like to remind it, well, the new schedule that shows on the flight schedule, what I'll do is I'll update it on the itinerary to make the itinerary flows as the reflection of the flight schedule. And
Hi.
that's,
Oh,
go ahead.
I'll let you finish.
Oh, sure. I'm finished.
Hi, this is Maria and Keith Burton. Oh, he's in the other room. And I just talked to my sister-in-law as we were speaking, so I didn't hear the first part of this call. She is in Zanzibar. She's been in Zanzibar since probably October 31st. It's 3 o'clock in the morning right now. But she did answer the call. And I was checking back with her. She has had zero problems. She's having 100% wonderful time. Um, they have been scheduling tours, doing so many things on Zanzibar Island. She said she's going to Stone Town. She says she's going to some spice market. They are just doing tours. They're on resorts. They're moving from resort to resort, having a wonderful time in Zanzibar. No issues, no problems, no guard, no nothing on Zanzibar Island. So I did want to throw that out.
Yes, absolutely. Appreciate your feedback. One of the places that were more stable than anything else was Zanzibar. And primary for the reason is because it's the island of the president and everyone loves it there. And they have incredible security, and it's an island that's this, it's kind of like this, to share something quick, this it's kind of like the Jamaica of East Africa. an island that people go to often, that's popular, known for tourism, great resorts, great sites, a lot of history, culture, and that's what Zanzibar represent. It's uh, it's a unique part of Africa that still it's unknown to a lot of people because West Africa is probably more familiar. But I'm happy that I had a chance to go there literally 5 years ago, like literally right after the last election when President Magufuli um, you know, got, remained the president of the country, and it was just a beautiful experience. And it was by default because it was COVID-19, and I had a bunch of people that wanted to go places, and our Senegal trip didn't work out. Ghana didn't work out, and I want to say South Africa. There's a few countries that didn't work out. So they opened the country up and let us know it's safe to come there, and we really appreciate it because this COVID-19 situation that year was very stressful, and we just wanted to go somewhere and just enjoy life. And when we went there, it was wild because no one was wearing masks, and I just saw a different side of the reality of what goes on in Africa versus what goes on online. And I've had several situations in the past like that. So that's why I'm also sharing with people that uh, despite the election shutdown, which is what some governments have to do to maintain stability and maintain certain things, maintain whether people infiltrating their country with bad information or information being leaked out to confuse the world. So those are the situation that goes on. It's unfortunate. So I'm sure your family member had a downtime of just internet, phone connections and things like that. Definitely unfortunate, but that was the primary reason why they did that. And after a few days went by, they opened things back up. But since then, uh, internet has gotten a lot better and phone communication has been working as I was able to talk to all my partners on the island and off the island. So Maria, appreciate sharing that. One of the best things that we can do when we have information about any country going on is literally to reach out to people in the country and uh, and someone may say that, well, the people in the country may be biased. Uh, no one wants to be put in harm's way. So if I'm in a country and something is not right, I'm going to be honest with people. I'm going to say, you know what, it's not right. You stay home, and while I'm still here, I'll let you know when it's safe or something like that. So that's one of the simplest research we can do. But I didn't want everyone to get overshadowed by the tons of videos. I've never seen so many videos about Tanzania. It's definitely going to be one of the more popular places now because some people just like, what is this country? But it's um it's stable and safe as the normal operations goes, and it's a country that they pride themselves on security. And one of the prime areas of the country is always Zanzibar, and then Arusha. Arusha is just the safari capital of the entire world, and everyone flies into Kilimanjaro or Arusha to go on safari. So the feedback I got is during the whole process of the election, all the groups that usually do safaris, they were still doing safaris. So those are the two greatest feedback I got was from Arusha, the continuation of the safaris, and Zanzibar, the continuation of just tourism there.
So, Maria, if I may, I have a question for you, and your sister's feedback. Did she go to any other areas other than Zanzibar?
Thank you for asking. It's my sister-in-law. And
Mm-hmm.
she did not. Their purpose was to go to Zanzibar Island and
Okay.
stay on Zanzibar Island for their 14-day
Okay.
vacation. So thank you
Okay.
for asking. And I do want to add what Bomani said. They shut down the ferry. Remember, she arrived probably what I would say is I think maybe in the middle of the unrest, I believe. So we weren't able to contact her for I think 2 or 3 days. And when we finally did, it was like Jesus said when in the temple, she said, "Why are you all so screaming and yelling? What is wrong with you guys?" We said, "We haven't talked to you. It's been unrest." And she's like, "We are having a great time. Yes, the internet was down. We didn't think anything about it. We just thought that the internet was down for a while, and they said it would be back up." and it's back up. Now, it was sketchy for one day, going down and up for maybe 2 days, I guess. But since that fourth day, I guess, fifth day, the internet has been good. So they've been able to call and send pictures when she wanted to, which is almost every other day.
Okay, this is Lawanda. I'm gonna ask a question about the flights, going back to the flight from Atlanta to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro. Is that the only, is there anything in between there? Any
From
flights in between?
Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro, you have a short layover in Dar es Salaam, so they can get off the Dar es Salaam passengers, and then the aircraft will fly to Kilimanjaro.
Okay, so it's nothing that will be that we would have to do. We'll just stay on on the plane. They will get off.
Yes, yes, which is very unfortunate because usually I'm used to us getting off and then them waiting to the plane flight to Dar es Salaam. But that's KLM for you and what they had to do to adjust to get flights in Dar es Salaam to arrive earlier, and that
Okay.
was at our expense, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I want to ask something about that too. So we don't have to change or do anything to the flight, to our flight.
We'll literally be on a plane. This probably was watching movies and this seeing passengers come on the aircraft and seeing a few adjustments and checks, and then the plane will fly off. And it's a
Oh,
short distance to Kilimanjaro.
okay, just that we don't have to go in on the website to change anything. We don't have we as each person doesn't have to do anything to their flight.
No, you don't have to do anything to
Okay.
the flight. And what I did a few days ago, I
Mm.
went in and checked all of the bookings because
Okay.
once I started seeing uh, a notification of some of our flights being canceled, I
Mm.
was confused about it. So I got on the phone with Delta and KLM and went through all of the bookings and made sure that all of us were rebook on our flight because it should have been something where they just left alone.
Mm.
But that's what they did. So I just made sure that was taken care of. And that's
Okay.
what I wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to log into their booking to confirm everything is good. And if you see any mistakes or anything that's not right, you just let me know and I'll get with the airlines to make sure everything is good.
Okay. All right.
So, question for you. You'll fly out of Atlanta, and so you won't be going to Amsterdam from Atlanta. You'll be going to New York and then Amsterdam.
Yes, that's correct. I'm leaving out on an early flight from Atlanta to JFK to meet with my family and the people that's leaving from New York, and we'll be meeting everyone in Amsterdam.
Okay. What time is your flight leaving on Thursday?
That's a great question. That's a great question. This is a separate booking. I want to say I have a 10 o'clock flight, and our flight leaves from New York at 5:45. So I'm setting myself up just to get there early and just get all of our things prepared and ready to meet in Amsterdam.
Okay. So we'll be on the international flights.
I repeat that one more time.
We'll be on the international flights
Yes,
instead of. Mhm.
these are all international flights. Like everyone leaving from Atlanta directly on with a KLM booking, you have that's international booking from Atlanta to Amsterdam. And then some people have a domestic connection. All the ticket situations is different for different people.
Mhm. But ours that's going from Atlanta, that would be from the Hartsfield Jackson Airport. It's not the international airport.
Oh no, your flight will be leaving from the international terminal. Yeah. Your flight is a direct international flight, Atlanta
Okay.
to Amsterdam.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
But
You you and
is it
several
through
other people.
Delta? It's
Yes, it's
Delta.
Delta.
Okay.
Yeah, and Delta and KLM are partners.
Yeah.
So some people may have a KLM flight leaving from the US to Amsterdam, but for the most part, all of the flights going to Amsterdam are Delta, and the majority of them returning from Amsterdam are on Delta, and then the one specifically going to Tanzania and back is only KLM.
And I was asking that because my flight information says that it didn't say the international airport. It just says Hartsfield Jackson. So I didn't know if that was particular, specific to the international airport that I needed to go to other than just the regular one that I typically go to.
Yeah, it's the same. It's
It's
all
the same.
the same airport, but the only thing is when they built it, they just built an international terminal because they were expanding so fast, and it allows for the flights that are literally directly going international could just focus on F and E concourse. Before it was just E concourse, so once they built F concourse, they just built a whole different terminal and make it simpler for those who want to focus on international flights to leave from there. But whether you leave from the domestic terminal or the international terminal, the main thing is you're gonna just go to your specific gate. Your gate may be E or F. None of us knows until you just check back maybe a few days and they'll have an assigned gate. Yeah.
Okay.
But the train goes from the domestic terminal all the way to the international terminal and back. So sometimes I may be taking a domestic flight and I may just show up at the international terminal. The people, TSA, uh, they don't mind whether you're leaving on an international flight or a domestic flight. They look at it as just one airport and whatever is convenient for you to leave from. But I would definitely recommend to go directly to the international terminal. It's a lot simpler. All of the all of the check-in counters are just right there for Delta and KLM. So you should be it'd be easier access to this getting things worked out versus the domestic terminal when it's so many different mix counters, and majority of people are just traveling domestic, which is always a high volume. And what I find out is that going through security is always longer in the domestic terminal because it's a lot more people flying all across the U.S. than international.
Thank you.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Bomani, this is Deirdre, and I just want to chime in a little bit. First of all, thank you, Maria, so much for the report of your sister-in-law. And I will say that I did have the opportunity through Maria to speak with her myself as well. She did a three-way, and that really did a lot for me to feel more comfortable going into the country. I've also spoken with others that are on the ground, the safari guide, the hotel manager, a lady that happens to live in Atlanta, but her family is in Tanzania. Her mom and sister both live in Arusha. And they shared in Corliss's assessment that right now, as of when I spoke with them, there had been no issues. I got pictures from the safari guide showing some of the guests that had recently enjoyed the safari. I didn't ask him to send it. He just sent it on his own. And I think I felt pretty good about that. I do have one small concern that I did want to throw out, and that is now that the airline has kind of forced us to be backed up into a midnight, pretty much may as well say midnight by the time we collect our things and go through customs and that with the larger group. It'll probably be after midnight that we're traveling on the road between Arusha and, between the Kilimanjaro airport and Arusha. And I think based on the itinerary, it's about a 45-minute drive. And I was wondering if it's possible, even if we have to pony up some extra money, to get some security on the bus with us, if that's not something that's already planned. And I just think that since it will be in the middle of the night, that would it may be something prudent for us to consider.
Absolutely. That's a great option. I'll definitely talk to our tour operator. It's a nice big bus, so we have plenty of space. And then also it's set to where we can move bags real quick in the bigger bus, so that will actually just work out well. As, and yes, it's Pat that I'll talk with him and I'll go through these things with our tour operator as they share them the flight schedule change. And we're going to talk about this, making sure everyone is just secure, safe, and make sure the bus has bright lights and just make a safe journey to the hotel and get settled. All right, so appreciate your
So,
feedback, DJ. Anything else you want to share?
No, I think that's just about it. I'm just, prayerful that you know, we'll be fine. The Lord will be with us just like he is here, even as we travel abroad. So,
Absolutely, and the main thing with these things is, you do your research, you plan things out, you communicate with everyone that you have schedules to deal with, and then we work together to make sure that we flow in a nice process. And the greatest thing about our travels is we're lodging in tourist destination where it's the highest priority of safety, security, and just being in an environment where you can just enjoy. So you won't see
well,
much of it.
I
Go ahead.
I did want to add one more thing now that you mentioned it. I wanted to share that, I think it's really important that everybody move according to their very own personal comfort level.
Right.
Um, I I happen to feel more comfortable with a larger group, and especially when I'm going places that, may be not as completely safe as, we're accustomed to, or we actually think we're accustomed to, because I think, today, if is some places would consider America a level 3. But I have traveled, so I haven't done my little introduction and all that yet. And I hope that I'll have time to do that. But I've traveled a lot, many continents, Asia, Africa, Europe, the whole bit. But there have also been times, like I looked up Egypt because I went to Egypt in 2022 and they were level 3 at the time that we went. It was a larger group, it was about 20 of us. And even, I mean, it didn't scare me to go, even though the Department of State had ranked it a level 3. We were fine. And then also, I've traveled to Trinidad and Tobago with another larger group, and the same thing. In hindsight, I look back and it was a level 3. And even Jamaica, believe it or not, Jamaica has been level 3 for the last 3 years.
Yes, it is.
Many people travel in and out of Jamaica. And so, and I think the issue is not that, the government is trying to be wrong, but if there's one section of a country that is having a lot of problems, they have to rank the whole country. They don't normally specify, well, don't go to Kingston and it's okay to go to Montego Bay, or, things like that. So, but I'm not saying that to say that anybody else, if, people have very different risk, um, you know, tolerance. And so, and I completely respect each and every person's individual decision. And I would say if you are hesitant and you don't feel comfortable, I would cancel. And at this moment, while I feel comfortable at this moment, I'm still checking. I check every day and I'm trying to reach out every day. And if anything were to pop off to make me feel uncomfortable, I will cancel. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you doing your research and your analysis. And yes, unfortunately, the Black/African countries are they're usually 2 to 3, level 2 to 3, which is I just came back from Ghana. It was level 2. Uh, Burkina Faso, right there by Ghana, was level 3, and just all over the place. Those are the ranges that, especially this current government ranks the different countries in Africa, and usually this they usually give high recommendations for people not to go to Africa, but this is just us connecting to our African experience, and that's just something that we have to be mindful when we read because it's very scary when you read it, and if you really think into it it will just throw you off. Just like I read what they posted about Ghana before I traveled. None of the members brought it up until we got there in the country and then was leaving. And I tell them it's just a standard situation that that's what they choose to do. It's not really America does have embassies all over the African continent, and it's usually for other purposes. Other purposes of just doing a bunch of different type of business. But it's what they have set up. But we just have to be mindful for it. And then someone like myself who does these journeys just nonstop for 20 years, I'm always telling people this, you can talk with me. I'll share my experience because I've made decisions when it was supposed to be this Ebola crisis in West Africa. And a bunch of groups canceled, and I did the same thing like I'm doing now. I did my research with people that I've known for a long time and people that I trust with my life, and and had them do ground research, and the decision was just made to move forward. And I think in that situation, I shared it with the rest of the group, and the majority of them traveled. The same thing during COVID-19. We did all of our research as far as protocols and made sure that, whether we got our COVID tests or whoever needed to get COVID vaccination, whatever the situation is, make sure we follow protocol and follow a process and work with our people on the ground to make sure that we're safe and good health and condition. And I'm just very thankful for the last 20 years that we have made wise decision not to just cancel it because I would have canceled half of the trips that we have done if I just kind of looked at especially the level 2 and 3 and then the the consistent information of YouTubers, especially with YouTubers trying to get views. You hear one story and they prop it up over the place, making it seem like the country is condemned and things like that. And I check videos out because I like to see what people are saying also, but I always advise everyone to do your own process, do your own research, and also think about the government situation. Do we have a government at any point, whether it's 20 years back or now, that really encourage Africans in the diaspora, African Americans and Africans from other part uh, to connect to an ancestral land, and not saying that they just discouraging us because we always have free will. All of us have American passport to where it entitles us to leave this country and come back. And one of the wildest thing that I heard this year and just opened my eyes up is the amount of people that told me that they're no longer, as soon as I came back from Ghana, I checked with everyone that wanted to travel with us next year, and a ridiculous amount of people told me they no longer are willing to travel to Africa with me because because the president of this country is not going to let them back in. I was shocked at that feedback. I was like, what, it's probably better for you to tell me that you have other things that you want to do versus that. But that was like a real reply back from, I don't have an exact number, but it was a lot of feedback. It was very strange. I even had I'm born in Jamaica, and so I've naturalized American citizenship. Came here as a resident and got my citizenship when I was a teenager. And I have other members of my Caribbean community from different parts of the island. When they started saying crazy stuff like that, that's when I got lost completely. I got one from Guyana that told me that I would love to go with you to Egypt, but Trump is on excuse me, the current government is on the verge of denaturalizing us, basically take away our citizenship. And I was blown away by that. And it's just funny to me that the level of fear by just feeding into things just make you this, but different people look at things different. From a young age of 18, when I joined the Navy, I wanted to enjoy my life. I didn't want to wait to a certain age to start doing things. I wanted to enjoy my life every decade and do many things, travel around the world, just explore life and not be limited by the fear of information being pumped into your brain every day. As a matter of fact, I feel like I'm more terrified here in the US. I'm very cautious about where I drive to, where I move, where I stop at, what store I enter, if I use the ATM machine late at night. Always, and that's not the fear that I have in Africa. As a matter of fact, Africa is just like, my freedom to just feel free. And I've never felt so free. So that's why every few months for the last, especially for the last 11 years, I'm in Africa and I work 7 days a week just so I can schedule time off to be in Africa for anywhere from 10 to 15 days, 3 to 4 times a year.
So, Bomani, I do have some additional questions about
Sure.
our trip and the itinerary. I hear what you and everyone else has said about Zanzibar and Arusha, and I guess Kilimanjaro. But let's talk about Dar es Salaam, because that it seems like from the research that I've um, done, that's where most of the issue is and the problems with the unrest over the political situation. So when I look at the itinerary, there's a lot of activity in Dar es Salaam. Are there any changes you're gonna make? Because there's leisure time and there's nightlife and there's, you know, all of these activities, but talk to us about whether or not that is safe there, because I know you had mentioned those who didn't feel comfortable going to Dar es Salaam. One of the options was to not go there, but that cuts off 3 days of the itinerary.
It's actually 2 days. We're staying there 2 nights.
2 nights, okay.
And what we're doing is we're visiting two museums, the National Museum, which is incredible, and then the Village Museum, where you see replicas of the villages, and then we're doing a city tour. That's kind of the bulk of it. It's only for one day, and then the next day the flight leaves out later on, so it give you time to bring your stuff down to check out, and then usually we have a few people who get together, and the hotel arrange transportation for people who want to go to different markets and go shop and make their way around. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking with the hotel manager at the courtyard there in Dar es Salaam about the surrounding areas because we're usually a book for us to stay in an upper middle class or upper class neighborhood where it's more of a business district where it's more reserved for expats and government officials where people are, it's usually designated as the highest level of the safe area that you can stay in. And the hotels like the one we're staying at tend to build their hotels in those areas because it's more so for, business conference and for business space. So that area is very close to the museums, and usually we don't do much driving. And then they have a nice beach called Cocoa Beach that the people tend to just go and chill, get some food, relax, and also there's some nice nightlife there. So those areas are designated as safe. The issue with Dar es Salaam is uh, the people directly put their frustration at the center of where they should put it at with the government buildings. So uh, any issues that went on, those are the primary areas, and that's not where we are. We're further away from those areas.
And is there a curfew? There's not a curfew at this time in Dar es Salaam.
And no, there's no curfew. It's just something, unfortunately, that they had to do, and that's just how the governments of Africa operate. They'll put curfew, and they realize that they know that they have a lot of foreign investors in the country, just like the area we are. That's a lot where a lot of them stay at, and they are literally not going to destroy their investments for people who are frustrated with, with how they run their government or things that they may not have or and things like that. So they'll have military present, police present, and they're gonna protect their resources. It reminds me just like Jamaica. You go to Montego Bay, they make sure that the tourist area is secure, even though something else may be going on in other area, and you have less police present and less safety situation, but they make sure they cover their prime area. And that's why anytime I do any schedule, those are the locations that I choose because it offers us the highest level of safety.
Okay.
So I'm definitely recommended for us to proceed to Dar es Salaam, and then what that does, it gives you like a different flow of Tanzania. First, you're up in the mountains in Kilimanjaro and Arusha, then you're flying directly to Zanzibar Island, a complete island off the coast of East Africa, and then you're making your way over to the mega city, and this it's one of East Africa jewel. Dar es Salaam is responsible for the rest of East Africa. So when they had their situation, the rest of East Africa, the East Africa community, which is probably the most organized community in Africa, uh, probably outside of North Africa, but I would say East Africa, because most of the countries, the most popular language in East Africa is Kiswahili. So a lot of people are from the same connection as far as this culture. So whenever they have situations, they do meet often and they'll support each other to protect their investment because Dar es Salaam and Kenya represent two countries on the coast that have mega ports, airports, seaports, uh, trains going back and forth, transportation moving, and everyone else that's landlocked, they depend on them to move, for business to move. And without Dar es Salaam yeah, and Nairobi, or I should say Nairobi and Mombasa, or more so Mombasa, since that's where the main port is. The rest of East Africa is shut down, so whatever goes on is suppressed quick. And I've seen just the flow of that. Kenya has been a little bit more, with more things going on. But I was also in Kenya when, when people were acting up. I was there even directly last year when it was a high when I left from Ghana and went there just because I wanted just to head over to Kenya and just get a feel of Kenya Airways before we did our Kenya journey, and it was just on high security alert. And and they handled it well to where that's the main focus is to make sure people are safe. The airport was airport was just serious, and check-ins after check-ins, and security screening, and then this police situated. And then once I left the country, it was another situation that happened, and the government quickly just handled that. And it's something I would say that they have a good handle on. And then for the most part, when things, not for the most part, in all aspects of situations, it's outside of our districts or where we move around. So that's why I'm also just looking at. But it's unfortunate, and I'm hoping one day the government can do a lot more for the people of the world and all governments because it's an unbalance of society. The young generation see people just living lavish and people enjoying life, and they want to be heard, so they're gonna just do what they need to do, and they may burn down a police station, and they may attack the government building, and they may just some kind of outcry. So we also have to just look at their frustration, and that's one of the ways that they get attention. And then they're hoping that the government can hear them and and do something for them.
Okay.
Yes, family, we are open for just anyone who want to share anything. Just definitely just want to put some positive, good energy out as get myself prepared and get everything else organized here, and just give us a good game plan to just be prepared, ready, organized, and just make sure that you get to your airport ahead of time. And number one thing is just to keep checking your schedule. Our flights are all international flights. So uh, I had a question earlier before the recording. Great question as far as if the government shutdown continues, which this will be the craziest thing that the current government or the current parties of this current government could ever do. Right when we leave for Tanzania, it's going to be one of the busiest traveling season in the history of America.
Mhm.
And most of the people are not going international, they're going domestic. And so cutting flights from 4 to 10% is going to cause chaos, and it's going to cause a lot of stress. But the FAA has to do what they have to do to adjust certain things. So by them doing that now, it puts pressure on the current government parties to make the right decision and get things open back up. I want my fellow FAA people, the air traffic controllers, to get paid. Some of us have the same license, but we just work for airlines or aviation companies. But if you are air traffic controller, you're a government worker versus the rest of us who work for the other entities that are licensed under the FAA. Myself as a aircraft technician and friends and associates of mine, pilots and have other positions. So we feel very just brokenhearted for them, you know, because and we're hoping that they can fix this situation this week and get the rest of them back up. That way they can they do the most incredible job ever. You know, my first roommate in the Navy was an air traffic controller, and that's because we're all aviation students and we all was on an air station, and all of us did many different craft as far as working with the complete world of aviation, and that is something that I would not be willing to do. But that is one of the most important thing because you have flights landing, flights taxiing, moving around, and you just have to control the flow of the flights in the sky and make sure that you have no near misses. So the fact that planes are not even falling out the sky, that's how incredible that craft is. And we just pray and hope and just wish for them to get the rest of their staff and crew that needs to be back at work to make sure that this wonderful holiday season coming up, everybody get a chance to get out, enjoy their vacation, enjoy their family time, domestic and international.
Bomani, with all that you said, if we have cancellation due to, the government shutdown, so what's the plan? Because I'm concerned about missing flights.
Yeah, so in the situation of the flights, example, uh, the primary adjustment they're making is with the ridiculous amount of domestic flights. So, example, you may have 8 flights on Delta going to Miami every day, and you may have another six going to Fort Lauderdale, another six going to Palm Beach, and so on and so on. So those are the flights that they're targeting to where they're going to adjust those flights. So instead of maybe having 8 to Miami, they'll have 6 to Miami. Instead of 6 to Fort Lauderdale, they may have about four. So those are the adjustments. Our flights are international flights where Delta and KLM only flies so many times to Amsterdam. So that's those are the harder flights for them to adjust, but the easier flights for them to adjust is the domestic flow. And so that's what they have been adjusting is the domestic flow. Nothing has really been pushed. In some cases, you may have United doing a bunch of different flights to London. They may have 6 flights to London, so they probably cut it back to 5. So those are the minor adjustments that they have been making and being very professional about it and working it out. And where one flight is canceled, they'll spread everyone else out on the actual flight that's active because some of those flights may not be full. So I love the professionalism of how they just handle the flow of things. And then as far as just the airport traffic, they'll work things out.
Again, I get you painting this picture, but today was a bad day for airlines with cancellation. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't have an international flight originally starting from Atlanta going to Amsterdam. My flight is from North Carolina going to Atlanta, then Atlanta going to Amsterdam. So my concern is, what's the plan? Like, if my flight is canceled from RDU to Atlanta and there's a delay getting to Amsterdam, how do I so
Just
yeah, because we're moving, the bus is going. It's like so how do I'm just trying to understand what's the plan? Like how do I connect if that happens?
All right, let me just give you a direct situation. That's why we're all on the WhatsApp group, and everyone have my information. And then the goal is for if anything happens with anyone, is just to post and communicate in the group. But at the same time, too, you'll know upfront and ahead of time if there's issues with your cancellations. So they're not just like I get up today and they just have your flight is canceled. They're working these things out ahead of time to where they'll say that, your flight is going to be canceled, so we can rebook you on an earlier flight. And, so these are things that, these are professional folks that are looking at your flight connections also. And the priority for, moving out is international. So since you have a domestic flight, you have more than one options to leave from Raleigh. So even if you have to just get an earlier flight, but it's something that you'll be notified of ahead of time. These things are not things that we're gonna get up and get ready to go, and then we find out like as soon as we get to the airport. So that's the plan. I've listened to their briefing and their flow of how they're gonna adjust flight schedule, which is very impressive and how they work these things out. But I'm just sharing with you things based on this being in the world of aviation and the airline business of how things get worked out to where you're not completely just like, oh, your flight is canceled and you're out of luck. And in worst case scenario, which is what we usually have to deal with, is when people actually just don't make their flights, and which is usually based on, their own situation for the most part. Uh, then you just do your best to go to the Delta or KLM check-in counter, whichever is available, and you just talk with them and let them know that you missed your flight or your flight didn't work out, and their goal is to rebook you and put you on the next best thing to get you to the country as fast as possible, even if case scenario is the next day, which is what I've seen happen, and then you'll be there in the country with us. We're there in Arusha for 4 days. So if someone just so happened to just not make it on that day, we'll get your notification and we'll work it out to make sure that you have transportation to Arusha. So those
Okay.
are some of the things that that's just honestly just based on experience. But I'm not really familiar with much of this airlines that's canceling our flights and just setting us up like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, the initial flight out of Atlanta to Amsterdam, that's the 5 in the evening flight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And yours is directly international. So
Okay.
it's, so s- so let's try
I'm
to
on there with you, Judy.
go
All
ahead.
right, girl.
Ah.
Okay.
Yes, I appreciate everyone energy with that. Uh, Definitely just run anything by us so we can share and just have a final conversation because after this everything will just be on the group WhatsApp page and we just be do my best to communicate with anything that I need to share while getting everything organized and ready for us.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, I appreciate your time. My only issue is I'm just sitting waiting for my visa, but I know it'll be here in probably Tuesday, maybe Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. But I look forward to hanging out with you, Judy, and Pamela with 2 L's, and all of you. So
That's perfect.
I am going to I'm going to get off of here so everybody can enjoy the rest of their night.
Lawanda, quick question. As far as your visa, when you check the status on it for it online, what did the status say? This in process?
No, I got sidetracked. I'm getting ready to do it once I get off the line.
And then if nothing else, you can just call the embassy Monday. We had one or two people had issues with not being able to access it. Maybe they didn't get the email and maybe they weren't able to log back in. But that
Mhm.
was worked out by the embassy.
Okay. Well, I'm not too much worried about it because if I have any issues, I'm just going to tell them I know you.
Yes, and when you get there, you'll be with us. And when you get
I'm
to the
just
actual
teasing.
country,
Hmm.
uh, you just give your passport, and all your information is registered on your passport for your visa. Uh,
Yeah.
and so if and then worst case scenario with any kind of visas, especially if someone didn't do a visa, we just get you in the visa on arrival line, and then you'll probably be able to get out the same time we get out of the regular visa line that for people who have visas already. So they have it all planned. That's what I love about East Africa. They have visas on arrival. They have visas ahead of time. They have visas where you don't have to send your passport in,
Oh,
especially for
okay.
those who like to travel and move around and don't like to give up your passport for a few weeks, like if you were going to
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Ghana, they
That's
like
what
to
I
hold
did
your
when I went to
passport hostage.
Ghana. We did visa on arrival. We
That's
went
good
there.
because they don't always
Yeah.
have it, but the visa
Yeah.
people is a little too pricey and it does only give you like a short stay. That's what I don't like about visa on arrival.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, okay. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, absolutely. You have a great one. And then, anyone needs to communicate, you can always text me, and I'll do my best to reply back, and call me if you need to talk with me, and I'll do my best to talk back with you. But I'm also trying to close out, my last days of work appointments, and get everything organized here, adjust our sheets based on just anyone who may not be making it, and get things submitted for someone who may not make it, and so we can submit things to the airlines ahead of time. That we can respectfully communicate with everyone that we're dealing with, that maybe this person is not coming in, work things out for them. So going to be a busy week, but my goal is just to get things organized and just be prepared for next Thursday. So we have a good 11 days to keep checking things out and keep just analyzing how other things go. But definitely make sure you just and I'm hoping that everyone has been able to log into their airline booking. It's one of the things that a lot of times I send someone a ticket and they just use that alone and skip the part that they need to go to the airlines and make sure everything looks good. Add your meals if you want special meals. Some of us may not necessarily eat the whatever standard diet of food that the airlines have, but on the outbound to Amsterdam, and then the flight to Tanzania, you have a choice and options to select meals. You just have to log in and go to special services. And if anyone needs a wheelchair or any assistant, all those things are there in your login to request. And the best thing to usually do is request these things a few days before you travel the latest. But right now is actually a perfect time to do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your info.
All right, perfect. So I got everyone scheduled to do the full journey with us, with the exception of anyone who may have just sent me a notification, because that's the only thing I can go by is a confirmed notification. That way I can adjust and do what I need to do. If anyone is on here that needed to do something outside of the direct schedule that we have arranged, please just communicate with me so I can work with you on any adjustments that you need for us to work out.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then now the energy is a lot better. I'm hoping that we can get some introductions because every time I talk about introductions, it's overshadowed by something else. So, but I'm hoping that we're in a good spirit where we're open to sharing a picture of ourselves, share a little bit about each other's background, and you can put what you want, and if you don't want to put certain things, that's really fine. But we always like to know what people do as a profession. Um, what they're looking for to go into the country, what's their experience traveling to Africa, and just anything you'd like to share. And that would just help all of us get to know little by little.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. So, family, for those who are finished and don't have any questions, and if you want to log off, that's absolutely fine. Don't want to hold everyone too long. And for those who still have questions and would like to talk, you can just continue. And then once there's no more question, I'll close the call and just start getting ready for the week and adjusting some of these spreadsheets so I can resubmit them to our hotel and resubmit certain things that need to be taken care of as far as flights.
Thank you, Bomani.
Absolutely, family. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You take care. Have a wonderful night. Looking forward
Thank you.
to
Bye-bye, Pam.
everyone in 10 days for some people and 11 days for others that I'll see in Amsterdam.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Have a
Absolutely, and
good
please
evening, everyone.
use the group page for us to communicate, especially when you're leaving your flight or getting on your flight. Let us know, hey, we're getting on our flight. We just arrived here, So we'll do things like that, and it'll be completely interactive, and it's fun and exciting, and it's just a way to boost the energy of the journey.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Well, it's good talking to everyone. So you take care, and this is one of my soccer jerseys. So you have a whole lot of shopping to bring some of these back for your brothers or sisters.
Yes,
Whatever.
yes.
And
Okay. Good night.
all right, good night, everyone. You take care.